Question for you before we get started. How did you go with last week's attention hijacking challenge? I'm going to be honest, I had some moments through this week with everything going on that I can't say hand on heart that my actual attention was 100%. I think it got hijacked a few times, but the key thing was I implemented the techniques we used. So I brought myself back on track. So just keeping in mind at the moment, how does that feel for you?
Yeah, and certainly when we look at our attention being hijacked, it's also our attention being distracted, which is the theme for this week, isn't it? So what we're going to be looking at with everybody is we're going to look at how we can try and undo some of the habits that we've unfortunately created for ourselves, perhaps while we're working from home, or even habits that we had in our workplace that we've brought back now that we're in that familiar environment. So we're going to look at ways where we can frame up our day so that we're actually able to start in the right way, but we're actually then able to keep our attention for longer and hopefully remove some of those distractions that keep popping up left, right and centre, whether it's people, place or process, or literal pop-ups. So hopefully we can give you some really meaty tips. We've got 4 to share with you this week around how to eliminate some of those distractions.
Perfect. So one thing we really know is that you're really loving the practical, proactive tips. So like Sarah said, here's 4. So we're going to kick off with clarify, then we're going to go to eliminate, then we're going to sprint and reset it, and then we're going to declutter. So get those pens poised and ready to go. So here we go. First up, we have clarify. So clarify is all around making sure you've got a very clear purpose on what you're doing right here, right now. The clearer we are on what we are, the reason why we're doing something, why we're doing what we're doing, and what outcome we want, then allows us to make sure, have we got the right resources? Have we got the right timing in our calendar? Have we got the right people around us? You know, what setup do we need to be successful? So for me, clarity gives leverage. It enables you to leverage your environment for greater results. So whether it be in virtual meetings like this, whether it be in team meetings, whether it be a one-on-one, or whether you'll be working on your own plan in your own workplace, you can apply this clarify. And we need to remember is when you're about to do something is go clarify and check off those key points. Now, the second one, which is really important, is eliminate. Now, I really love this because we have a real issue in today's society with FOMO. So FOMO is that we all know it, fear of missing out, but the problem that it's doing is it's actually hijacking our attention. It's creating distractions, and people are thinking they have no control over it. In actual fact, you have full control over it. It's up to you to turn off those email alerts. And yes, you might turn off the pop-ups, but have you turned off all the little ones on your little bar down below to make sure if the numbers aren't popping up? Has your cell phone been turned over, not just on silent, but is it turned over or left in another room? Is it that you have a cue in your office that when you're wearing headphones or you're putting something on top of your computer that you know that it's a no-go zone, that it's time for you to focus? And one thing I also love is, is we need to really manage and control when people are coming to us and manage those personal interruptions as well. So that's eliminate. And then my absolute favorite is sprint and reset. So sprint and reset is getting a lot of momentum at the moment because it is 100% proven technique to get you focused, get you into a high performance mode where you go in, you totally nail a task for at least 60 minutes. Sometimes I'll take it to maybe 90, but usually 60. And quite often I'll put a timer on. And so when that timer goes off, I stop, I get up, and then I reset. And reset is movement, it's stretching maybe, it's getting water, it's getting something to eat. So it's about resetting, recovery, and then you're ready to go. So that's my favorite. But remember, clarity or clarify, eliminate, sprint, reset.
And don't forget number 4, which is declutter. And that's my favorite. And so there's the good old declutter, which is when you've got a lot on your mind, write it down. And there's nothing like writing out a task list of everything that's going on so you don't forget, because we've all got a lot going on and it's really easy to miss something throughout your day. To elevate how you manage your task list though, one of my real pet favorites at the moment is to actually just take the whole task list step one step further, or 2 or 3 steps further actually. So what you do with your piece of paper, you actually have 3 columns sitting on the page, and the first page is still your task list, so all of the things that need to be achieved or you would like to achieve, and some estimated timeframes that sit around that particular activity or task. The second column is the opportunity cost of doing that task or not doing that task. Because sometimes when we write down all these things we have to do, we find we don't actually have to do some of those things. Or sometimes we actually recognize just how urgent a particular task or priority might be, and actually it needs to be probably moved up a bit higher up the list than we would otherwise have put it down to. The third column is around, do I really have to do that work? And so what that's looking at is all of those tasks. Can I train somebody up? If you've got a repeating task that's 20 minutes every week or month or so forth, can I actually train somebody up or two somebody's up to do that task within my team that then permanently frees up that time for me? Or it might be that there's a particular report due, and actually there's somebody in your peer group or a colleague who actually has, if we're really honest about it, a much stronger skill set than ourselves. And actually you can lean on them and say, hey, look, I've got this due. Actually, I need some of this information. Can you help? Or can you do this piece so that actually I can do the next bit? And the third one is, when we're looking at all of our priorities and the opportunity costs, there could be some incredibly urgent pieces of work that actually really genuinely are best suited to be outsourced to another company. And the opportunity cost is, I get to do all of this other work. Yes, it might cost financially some money, so I understand budgets come into this, but actually the skill level and the speed of getting that piece of work completed by somebody who's an expert in their field, while you're doing some of the in-house stuff, the opportunity cost of that might actually far outweigh doing it that way than leaving it on your list and potentially not doing it to a standard that you will be particularly happy with and in the time frame that you're after. So given we're here on a Friday morning, my challenge to you is to take 10 minutes now, sit down and just jot down your task list, the times, the opportunity cost, and actually who really genuinely needs to do the work. And it's actually okay if it's you, but it's also a really interesting exercise to do, to then sit back and reflect on where you would have started versus where you've actually potentially ended up starting, using those 3 columns.
Perfect. I love it. And the thing is too, Sarah, is we're going to have a bit of a challenge between ourselves and
Yes.
to you as well. And that is, which one do you like the best? So your challenge this week is to implement 4 if you can, or if you can't, try 1 or 2. So remember, clarify, eliminate, sprint and reset, and declutter. Your choice, but I think we might have a bit of a battle on our hands, Sarah, in regard to, do more people like your one or do they like my one? So we would love to hear your comments. Enjoy the challenge, and also a separate challenge for those leaders, amongst you, is actually share this, share it with other people so that they can actually get some focus tips and refocus training. We all know that focus is not just a given. It is a skill that we need to refine and work on. And we need to be 100% committed and accountable for what we do. So enjoy your week, and we look forward to seeing you next Friday.
Bye, everyone.
Bye, everybody.